Today is the Matty Courtney Radio Show's season number 2, episode 1. And it's actually a very special episode because you have a new song that's coming out.
Yeah, I have a song that came out today called Hush, and then I have another one coming out on the 20th with a group that I have, Fox and Faye is the name of like the side project, and it's called Go, the song that's coming out on the 20th.
Okay, well, since let's talk about that really quick because I think that's really great. So first tell me about the song that you are coming out with is called Hush, I believe.
Yeah, we released that one today. This is so strange talking like this again because we've had, and people don't know this, like we've had conversations over video and like talked like, you know, personally, and now it's like such a strange thing to just go back into like the interview type of talking. But yeah,
I love it. And you love it too. Yeah. That's why you're here.
Yeah, I'm trying to get my phone.
I see Adam is here. Hello, sir. How are you doing? Another great music by Adam. Actually, when he was releasing that first single, I was bopping to it. But specifically, we're going to talk about the song that Courtney did. Now, it's funny because the song I wanted to listen to it actually before we did the stream, so I could be like, hey, I listened to it. But I don't know. I can send you the screenshot because I took a screenshot of it. But I don't know if it's because it's so new. Because when I went to go view it on your, you know, on Instagram now they have like you can like I always write I like turtles or weird things up on the, like you can write like little quotes in Instagram about your day or whatever. You have you have your song is called Hush, so you wrote Hush, and you can actually click on it and play it. But when I did that, it was saying like the song's still not available in your time zone or your country or in your country. So, and I did that like 4 hours ago. So I don't know if it's because this song is so new, it just didn't drop into this region yet or whatever, maybe. But if you want, I can send you the screenshot so you can see what it looked like. But hopefully by tomorrow, at least it'll be available for everybody in Australia, New Zealand, and in the United States.
Yeah, I just actually switched distributors too, so I'm using a different distributor called Venice.
Okay.
And it's my first time, and I noticed it also didn't distribute the lyrics because I was looking for the lyrics, and I was like, oh, I can't even find them, so I had to go and find a separate service to distribute the lyrics myself as a publisher. So it's kind of been a mess. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I figured you would want me to screenshot something like that, so I did. I did that for you because, you know, market research, and I had no idea, full disclosure, that you were using a different distributor. So maybe that is, or maybe it's not. Maybe Venice is still fantastic, and it just took some time to get to Finland. But I digress. Could you just tell me, maybe before I listen to it now, since I didn't get to hear it, maybe you can tell us a little bit about the song and what we could be expecting to hear when we hear it.
Yeah. So if you haven't already heard it, or you might listen to it to entice you, when I first started writing the rough draft of the song, I was actually in the studio with Adam, recording something completely different, and we were like in between breaks, and I just picked up his acoustic guitar and luckily recorded my phone, whatever I was doing, and then just literally that was the song. I just kind of ran it out like of me just with an acoustic guitar, and had the phone recording, and then took the phone recording, kind of chopped it up and built it into a song, and then it was like a minute long maybe, and then Adam took the production and kind of added like another half to it. So it's like there's a somber acoustic kind of introspective beginning to the song, and then it cuts in the middle and breaks to like this really uplifting, like hopeful kind of like more production type of part of the song as well.
Okay, well, that's actually gives us a really good insight on the songwriting process for that particular song. And it's also something similar that I do, but also, for example, I know this might be a little cringe, but I was watching the Taylor Swift documentary, and I noticed that she also uses her phone a lot when she's writing. As to, you know, when I saw that, I was like, oh, she is an artist, I guess. She is, because, you know, that's what we do. Like, we use our phones and we record guitar or sing into it, and then you go back a few days later and you listen to it or whatever, and then you can build your ideas and stuff like that. Or you can do it like when you turn into an older gentleman like myself and you forget things. I always record it on my phone, so like 3 days later I don't forget it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, I'm putting post-it notes everywhere because I'm already preparing for like, you know, my short-term memory loss from other activities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're on their way. The scientists are on their way to fix that. So I'm very interested in that. But that's a whole other live stream and a whole other story. We can talk about that another time. Other than the new song, you have, and you said you also, we might as well, you have a side project or another project that you're doing, another release on 420. And
yeah,
that's cool too. And I guess maybe we'll have a stream before then. Possibly, I don't know if we will, but what was the name of that project? Just so if somebody's watching them, they might want to check it out.
Yeah, it's called Fox and Faye, and I think the Instagram is like Fox Faye Music. Me and Adam, because it's a duo project with Adam and myself, my producer boyfriend. We've been posting it a lot too. So if you follow us, he's probably in the chat somewhere, or maybe Fox and Faye's in the chat. We'll be posting about it too. But yeah, it's kind of like indie alternative pop kind of. The first single that we're dropping is a little bit more like synth pop, I guess you could say. I gave it to a sync agent for like feedback, and they said it sounds like it could be in a spy movie. I think that was, yeah, and I was like, oh, okay, thank you, I guess.
Okay, so the project is with you, and it's you and Adam, so it's not necessarily well, it's its own thing though. So it's not a Courtney Nord exclusive. It's a collaboration project. And yeah, the song that I heard Adam was promoting like a month ago or so was very poppy, very catchy. So and I really liked it, and I was sharing it and stuff like that. So yeah, you guys are really cool. Also, if you're not following Courtney and or Adam, you should, because you guys are always doing stuff, and it's pretty cool to follow you guys. So let's talk about, well, I mean, there's a few things I wanted to talk about, but one would be, for example, how are you doing in the sync licensing world? I know that you have many things available, like educational tools that are available for people and classes and stuff, but you're here, so maybe you could tell me a little bit more about what you've been doing on that front.
Yeah, so I started doing sync licensing back in 2020, really roughly. Like, I was like, oh, okay, I just made this album. This sounds really good. Somebody I was working with, Jesse Covitz, my other producer, said this would sound really good in SongTrader, which is a sync licensing catalog. So I checked out SongTrader, and I noticed that there are other sites just like that. So I was researching it, and I came to the point where I was like, wow, I know so much about this, and I'm starting to like understand the basics, and people were asking me questions online when I would post content about sync licensing. So I created a course, and I have now, it's probably like the 7th version of the course, so it's really refined, it's really in-depth, and I give so many resources. It took me literally months to build this course, the full course, but that being said, it is kind of at a higher price point because I put so much work into it, and I have other resources that are a lot more affordable or free completely for sync licensing. Like I have a mini course that's free that has like a webinar that goes over the basics. So if you are a musician and you want to have your music repped by like film, TV kind of catalogs, then you can check that out on my page.
Okay. Yeah, and it's cool that you said that you updated it, because for a bit, not in the past like few weeks or so, I get diverted so many directions. Like it's crazy because of the way technology is moving today. It's so hard to get into something. But for example, I was getting into the sync licensing thing 4 months ago when we had talked like originally about things, and even obviously prior to that, because our Matty and Courtney streams have always been about pretty much that as well. But I realized like how much it's changing, and how people are going from like exclusive to non-exclusive to micro, and all these different terms and all the things. And then there's all these, when I say all of these, I'm talking about when you go on YouTube specifically and you want to do research on YouTube, since that's kind of what I tend to do. And it's just like there's so many different variables and options, and then all of those variables and options are always changing. So again, when you said that you're continuously updating, I kind of understand why, because you kind of have to if you want to be in that world trying to pitch songs or things like that. Do you find it like that way where like if you don't pivot or you don't re-educate yourself, you could be stuck when everybody else is kind of, moving along, or what do you, how does that work?
Yeah. So first of all, I surround myself with a bunch of different resources. I have a mentor that I work with, and I've been working with for like the last 2 years or so. His name's Phil Williams, and we have an entire mentorship group, and he's had over 1,000 different syncs, and he has his own method of doing things. And I notice too, when I branch out to other people and other communities that are in sync licensing, we each have our own, each community is like, oh, we all do non-exclusive, or we all do exclusive, we're all composers. And I like doing a healthy mix of it. And I recently talked to a collaborator where she said she was getting around like quite a few, thousands of dollars or something per quarterly report just on the back end because she was doing exclusive. And now my whole mindset is shift like, okay, let's make a few songs that are going to be exclusive now to see if that helps us with any kind of success. And like some people say you're more apt to get like licensed if you have an exclusive deal with a catalog because it's easier to clear. And there's just so many ways to go about it. That's why the way I built my class is like, find your pathway. Here are all the little ingredients, and you can build your own path because it does change, and it is very, I guess changing.
Well, yeah, and I would highly recommend anybody watching this to check out Courtney's class, but also not only that, because you're in the world, but you're also another thing that you're doing. We could talk about it. I mean, you're educating yourself to eventually one day be possibly an entertainment lawyer. Is that kind of right?
Yeah. So coming into the world of sync, I was also in school, but I was studying criminal justice, and it was really heavy on my heart to hear a lot of terrible things that happen in that side of, especially in the United States. We have like a huge amount of people that are in jails and prisons, and it's just I don't want to think about that every day, but I do like the idea of like law. So I switched my studies over to being political science and like liberal arts, going towards my JD in entertainment law because of sync licensing, because I realized that it kind of clicked in my head really quickly, and like I'm really good at communicating with people, and I noticed my strengths and my weaknesses really quick when I stepped into the sync space as a composer, as a person, as an artist. It's really, just mind expansion.
Yeah, and I wanted to bring that up because I think that even adds to what you have to offer, because if you have the education and the mindset from the legal side of things too, you're definitely going, and you're most likely pointing the people that you're helping out in a really good direction, a direction that is the way to go. If you're because I mean, we can get into that too, but like there's all kinds of contracts and ways to do things, industry standards and things like that. And I think it's really good to have some sort of education on that as well, not just making the music and throwing it out there and seeing what happens, because you could make a lot of music and throw it out there and see what happens. And guess what? One of the things that could happen is that lots of bad people could steal that from you and be like, oh, there's nothing you can do about it because you did that and you didn't educate yourself. So I think that's another plus to having somebody like you, helping people out that are getting into that type of thing. If you're in a band or you're a music artist, one of the things that you can do to create some sort of side income or possibly full-time income, with a lot of people do, is the sync licensing. And I don't know, microsync, is that something too? Because I remember that somebody was like, I'm only going to do microsync because there's so many, I have all these songs, and then after like 700 songs, you get 30 cents for each one 1,000 times, and then you get, like, I don't know, there's all kinds of crazy stuff going on with this.
Yeah. So some people call it micro licensing. Some people just refer to it as, licensing your music to YouTube creators and people's podcasts. And I've had more licenses, more streams, and a lot of exposure through doing micro licensing. And every time I have a new music upload, I go to my micro licensing website. I use Jamendo, which is based over in like Luxembourg, and I upload it there, and then it gets spread out. And like I said, I've noticed a lot of just exposure. Like I had a song, "The Daughter of the Waters," had like 60,000 streams or more just on that one licensing site. And like the pay is like, I think I got like I think it was euros and like 60 whatever, it's not cents, maybe it is cents. I'm American, don't blame me. But yeah, it was like €5, and I was like, okay, maybe that's $6 or something. I don't know. Which is, it's kind of pathetic, but it's also like you don't have to do much in a way. And the way I was really hesitant to go into micro licensing because I thought immediately I'm undercutting myself. All these other agencies I work with are, at least hundreds of dollars, if not thousands or tens of thousands of dollars. Micro licensing, you're licensing your music for $20 or less, usually less. So you give and take, but I wouldn't solely do micro licensing because it's a non-exclusive license. You should have your music in a micro licensing catalog as well as with non-exclusive agents that'll, advocate for a higher price for better usages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, if you do, is it possible? Because I don't know. If you do like let's say you have like a really good song, and somebody wants to do an exclusive on it, within that particular deal and the terms in that deal, is it still possible that you would be allowed to put it on Spotify for other people to hear, or usually is it like nope, they own it, you're giving it exclusive to this place and they're going to do what they want with it, and you can never really put it on YouTube or Spotify?
So every term is different. Every contract is different. They might take your publishing, and if it's exclusive, chances are they're taking your publishing, which means that they're going to be putting it on Spotify. There's barely any time where you're selling it exclusively
Right.
and it doesn't end up on Spotify under your artist profile. It'll just say like in the label section, under exclusive license to, we'll just say like West One Music or something. And another thing about doing exclusive licenses, and why I was also really hesitant on doing exclusive licensing, is because when you're selling your music exclusively, you don't know how hard they're going to pitch it for you. You don't know if they're going to be able to pay you enough. You don't know how hard, they're pushing your music. You really do your research. And like, there's one company I know I would work with because I know somebody who's had success with them. And I know somebody where their music gets licensed a lot, and they make a very similar type of music that I do. So yeah, it's very nuanced.
Yeah, well, that kind of, when you said that, it kind of reminds me of like record labels. You could sign to a really great record label, but if they all of a sudden want to shelf you, what they call it, then they're not, they own the rights to your album, and they're just like, we're not really interested in like promoting it. So then you have this amazing album that you feel is awesome, and now these people are controlling it, and they're just they can do what they want. So yeah, I guess so. I guess that would be something. Of course, there's probably so many things that you could learn about. So I was going from that into AI, and then I got into the AI world, and much further than like ChatGPT and Sori and 11 Labs. Like I was getting into like all the individual little apps that people are coming out with, and how you can use AI to have a music career. Have you are you dabbling into AI with anything right now, or what are your thoughts on some of the things that are available right now?
So a few things come to mind when I think of AI in music. This is a really hot topic at like NAMM this last year, and there's so many different speakers talking about it, and they all have their own way. The thing is like, are you using it for songwriting? Are you using it for producing? Are you using it to help you build a storyline? Or are you using it to, like, for me, I'll be AI, ChatGPT, help build me a licensing contract that is, 2 years, or, it'll help you do a lot of different things. But another thing is, coming into the sync space, there's disclaimers now. Like, if you use any AI in your music production, or if any sounds or, anything's from AI, we will not accept it. You need to disclose this. This is an issue because it is going to be a legal issue later on when we start establishing these laws around AI and actual intellectual property. But what I've used, I actually created a song that I used AI for part of the songwriting, where the first intro, like 4 lines or whatever, were from AI. And I was like, write a song in the style of the music artist Courtney Nord. And there's enough stuff online about me where it was able to structure something. And like, I recreated this prompt a few times till I got something good. And even when I listen back to that song, I hate saying that I don't like any of my songs, but it's like I know that there's something like inauthentic about that song. And I played it live, and it wasn't received as well. And I even said to the audience, I was like, part of the song is written with AI, and it was like, crickets. Like, it is what it is. You know, it can help you with a lot of things, but I wouldn't use it for production. But it is used in production. Like if you think of plugins, there's a lot of AI plugins now that are invaluable, you know, and it's helped us with, you know, sounding so professional and studio quality at home.
Yeah, totally.
Mhm.
Yeah. So my after going into that rabbit hole for, it was a while actually. And then I'm out of it. I kind of had to jump out of it because, again, especially with AI, it gets updated like by the hour. It seems it's so crazy, all the new things. But I think as a music artist, I wanted to be open-minded, and I wanted to figure out like, you know, is there a way to lean into this technology because it's here to stay. I think it's a really good idea, and what you said. If you're going to use something like that in writing, you know, if you're going to use ChatGPT to write your lyrics to a new song, that's totally cool. The reason I say that is because at the end of the day, I was thinking about this. Wanted to talk to you about this the other day, and I was thinking about what I was going to say. And if you are a songwriter and you put out a song, and for these purposes, let's just say you're one person in your home studio, nobody else is involved, and from start until finish, including mixing and mastering, it's just you doing it, right? So that would be your song. And now, what would be the problem if all of that basically came from your head to the finished project? So what's the problem with using AI and you being the producer and having the AI do everything that you want it to do? Is no difference if you do it like that than if you did it yourself, because you're just telling it what you want to do and what you want to create at the end of the day to get your intellectual property, whether it's AI doing it for you or you doing it for yourself.
There was a great speaker on this at NAMM when I was there, and he was talking, and he works for the Grammys.
Okay.
I know, me too. But he was saying, and I wasn't actually there, I was listening on the app, so you could have listened on the app. But
Okay.
he was saying that, you know, what does the Grammy represent? It's a gramophone. What is a gramophone? It's like, you know, a tool, an instrument. It's just a, you know, and he said AI is just another one of those. And he said, we would actually recognize a song made by AI for a Grammy. He said, like, that was just his opinion, though. I don't know if that's real. But, and he said, you know, because it is an instrument, and the whole idea of like a Grammy is like, you know, it's a gramophone, it's an instrument, it's just a tool that you use, it's the next calculator. And like I said, there's certain sustainable ways to use it. In a sucky sense, like talking about micro licensing again, AI is easily going to take that up. It's probably already eaten it all up. Like all of these, like, you know, productions that want cheap music that's quick and just like, oh, commercial and like unoriginal, unhuman, they're already using AI and they're not paying anybody. Like the artist is getting cut there. But this makes us stand out when it comes to quality work. And those people that can play instruments, those people that can write authentic lyrics, those people that are unique and edgy are going to get paid more. They're going to stand out more against all these fake AI productions that are being featured in commercials. And you're like, I'm actually going to pay more for a human to do this because it sounds better. It sounds quality, and they can do something that AI can't.
Very true. And we can talk, there's a million things I want to say now because, well, first of all, back to the song thing. I think it's great, AI using it if it works for you and it does exactly what you want it to do. But yeah, you still should disclose, like, I don't know. I mean, do you disclose that you used an SM51 when you recorded? Like, do you have to disclose that? So I guess you really don't need to disclose that you're using AI, but maybe for now it might be a good idea. You know what I mean?
Well, it depends on where you're going with it, because like the legal side of my mind's like, well, if it made, you know, part of the production or like, you know, helps you write half of the song, or it did all the music and you did the vocals or something, you would almost, like certain catalogs, they would want you to disclose that.
Yeah.
And like I said, some of them won't even work with you because it's very touchy, because AI is, you know, still maybe essentially not creating its own work, but just sampling things that it has in its database to then create things from other people's original work, which is a very gray area.
Well, you know, it's interesting now. I at this point in time, I'm not going to use it to write lyrics, at least at this point in time. I may pivot and change my mind, and I'm happy to do so. But at this point in time, today, 2024, I don't want it to write my lyrics. I want to at least write my own lyrics. I don't even want it to help assist me in it. I just want to do that myself. But when it comes to like just throw all my tracks into the AI and say mix it to sound like something, that's cool. I'm down with that. I'm down with the plugins. I'm down with even possibly coming up with like if AI could make me a whole drum track that I want to sound like instead of having to get a real drummer, I wouldn't mind doing that either, especially if I was doing music in my room. Now, me personally, I have access to a drummer. I'm a drummer myself, and I have a studio, so I don't need to do that either. But also, AI is amazing for, like I said, story. I don't know if it's out yet or not, but you can make music videos, amazing looking music videos with AI. You can do things like we're doing now and chop it up and have the words spit out and have, short form content with. So AI goes a lot further than just music production. It also, for a music artist, you can use it to automate your posts, and there's like, because I was really getting heavy into it, and I was like, wow, like this is amazing. Now, like you said, though, at the end of the day, what we're doing, we're two people. You can't, at least right now, like this is the important thing. Like this is what we have. Like we're not doing the avatar and we're not having our AIs talk to each other on a live stream. Like we're actually doing this live stream, but we can still use AI after this to amplify and promote our live stream and do all these other things. So it's really interesting. And like I said, I got out of it maybe like 4 weeks ago. I haven't been following up, but I guarantee you that if I went into that rabbit hole again, there would be so many new things already, because it's just growing every day, and there's new amazing things. Yeah. So I really love it. I think it's here to stay, and I think that any music artists that are kind of on the fence, I think you should really open up and the possibilities of making your life easier and more helpful, using that a tool to make things helpful, and it's definitely cool.
Yeah. What I've been doing too is I have not written an artist bio for all these companies and catalogs and even like Spotify, YouTube in like years. And what I do is like I'll hire little blogs and I'll pay them like $5 or something, or they'll do it for free sometimes, just to write up like about my most recent song. They'll do like an interview and it'll just be a write up online. So then AI can go in and sample that and write an artist bio for me. And that's what I've been using it for too. It's just helpful. It's done all my copywriting too for my sync class. Like I wrote down all the content that I wanted and I put it through AI and I said, organize this better, like rewrite this better, and it just fixes everything up to look like extremely good.
Well, I would say we should wrap up the stream because my phone is about to die. Anybody that's watching this right now, or if you're watching this later, please do me a favor, in the comments, write down something that you would like Courtney and I to talk about for the next show, because I would love to hear what you have to say. If you have any questions or you just have a topic that you guys or gals want us to talk about, just write it in the comments. I would love to hear and read those. And yeah, so until the next time, again, your song Hush is out. Technically it should be out now. If you don't see it right this moment, maybe wait until tomorrow, hopefully, but it should be out now. New exclusive, awesome. And then your project with Adam is coming out 4/20. And yeah, so is there anything you want to say before we wrap up the stream?
See you on the next one. Rock and roll.
Awesome. Rock and roll. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.